Hi students, I'm Zaid, one of the computer science lecturers in UiTM Thank. The chapter that I'm going to talk about is networking and security in the business world. We divide this topic into 6 parts. Please complete all the 6 parts to get better understanding of this chapter. Let's look at part 1 first for client server. Before we proceed, let's look at the learning outcomes for this chapter. At the end of this chapter, you should be able to describe common types of client-server networks and server found on them, to describe network topologies that are used to construct the client-server network, to describe transmission media, network operating system software, and network navigation devices, and lastly to explain major threats to network security and how to mitigate them. We know that a network is a group of 2 or more computing devices, or known as nodes as well, that are configured to share information and resources such as printers, files, and databases. Businesses such as your school, convenience stores, and malls gain advantages from deploying networks. But what are the advantages? Network computers have many advantages over individual standalone computers. As you can see here, networks enable resource sharing, facilitate knowledge sharing, enable software sharing, and enhance communication. However, because business networks are often complex, additional personnel are usually required to maintain them. These people, or known as network administrators, have training in computer and peripherals maintenance and repair, network design, and the installation of network software. Another disadvantage is that operating a network requires special equipment and software. However, most companies feel that the cost savings of peripheral sharing and the ability to give employees simultaneous access to information outweigh the costs associated with network administrators and equipment. Aside from the smallest networks such as peer-to-peer or P2P networks, which are typically used in homes and small businesses, the majority of computer networks are based on the client-server model of computing. A client-server network, also called a server-based network, contains servers as well as client computers. A server is a computer that both stores and shares resources on the network, whereas a client is a computer that requires those resources. If you can remember, in a P2P network, each node connected to the network communicates directly with every other node rather than using a server to exercise central control over the network. Many tasks that individual users must handle on a P2P network can be handled centrally at the server in a client-server network. Client-server networks are centralized, but P2P networks are decentralized. These 2 diagrams show the difference between a client-server network and a P2P network. A client-server network consists of a server, a computer, 2 laptops, a printer, a switch, cables, and wireless connection to connect the devices, while in each device in P2P network is connected directly to each other. P2P networks become difficult to administer when they are expanded beyond 10 users. Each computer might require updating if there are changes to the network, which isn't efficient with large number of computers. And as noted previously, security can be implemented centrally on a P2P network but instead must be handled by each user. The two types of client-server networks in businesses are local area networks, LANs, and wide area networks, WANs. A LAN is generally a small group of computers and peripherals linked together over a relatively small geographic area. For instance, the computer lab at your school. A WAN comprises large numbers of users over a wider physical area or separate LANs that are miles apart. Businesses use WANs to connect two or more geographically distant locations. For example, UiTM has several branches in several towns in Malaysia. The LAN at Dengkil campus is connected to the LAN at Puncak Alam campus, forming one WAN connected either by dedicated telecommunications lines or by satellite links. Students on both campuses can share data and collaborate through the WAN. Other types of client-server networks are PAN, Personal Area Network, HAN, Home Area Network, and MAN, Metropolitan Area Network. An intranet is a private network set up by a business or an organization that's used exclusively by a selected group of employees, customers, suppliers, volunteers, or supporters. It can facilitate information sharing, database access, group scheduling, video conferencing, and other employee collaborations. An intranet isn't accessible by unauthorized individuals because a firewall is installed to protect it from unauthorized access through the internet. An extranet is an area of an intranet that only certain corporations or individuals can access. The owner of an extranet decides who will be permitted to access it. Extranets are useful for enabling electronic data interchange (EDI), which allows the exchange of large amounts of business data, for example, orders for buying goods, in a standardized electronic format. Apart from intranet and extranet, virtual private networks, or known as VPNs, are used to keep information secure. A VPN uses the public internet communications infrastructure to build a secure private network among various locations. VPNs use special security technologies and protocols that enhance security, enabling data to traverse the internet as secure as on private leased line. Installing and configuring a VPN requires a special hardware such as VPN optimized routers and firewalls. On top of that, VPN software must be installed on users' computing devices. Before we end this part 1, here are the key components of a client-server network. Servers, network topologies, which is the layout of the components, transmission media, network adapters, network navigation devices, and a network operating system. So, see you on next video part 2. Bye!